Hey everybody, happy Monday. Welcome back to Torpedoes and Tarantulas. Today, guys, I'm going to do an update on my roach colony. There have been a few changes, so that's why I'm doing this update. Let me get set up and let's get started. All right, so now I'm set up, so we will go through this. Before I get too deep into this, though, most of you may remember a month or two ago, I did a collaboration with my very good friend Jonathan from Tennessee Tarantulas, and we both did a roach how to video, breeding and care video or whatever. And you may remember that we both had different styles of keeping our roaches. Well, at the end of that video, there was a comment from a certain viewer that told me that I was keeping my roaches too damp. Uh, you may remember how damp that enclosure was. If you did see that video, I just kind of blew him off, like, screw you, who asked for your opinion, because I made a rookie mistake, and I was trying to establish a producing colony, and I had somebody tell me that when they increased the humidity in their enclosure, that they started getting more pinheads hatching, when actually the fact is it's the complete opposite. And Tennessee had tried to tell me this too, and he's going to gloat about this now once he sees this video. But he told me I keep mine bone dry and I have more roaches than I can deal with. So there we go. That's my first development. You can see that I went and cut some rectangles out of the lid of this thing, and I glued on some window screen that I just bought at Walmart, and I've kept it dry ever since, and it has made a world of difference. You can't see it right now, but that's another thing that I'm going to show you. It has increased the production of my roaches, so that's just a tip for anyone who is trying to raise their own. Don't make a rookie mistake and believe one person. Do your research and find out, what is the best way to do whatever. Keep a tarantula, or keep your springtails or your feeders, whatever they may be. Don't just go off the word of one person. Do your research. So now I'm going to kind of get in here and kind of show you guys what's going on. Hold on. All right, so you can see there's one thing that I did not change in this enclosure, besides the food and everything, was the keeping of the egg crate vertical. That way, when they poop, it all just kind of falls down rather than getting caught in all these nooks and crannies. Because when you go to get your roaches out of there, you don't want to dump a bunch of roach shit out in there too and have to kind of pick all that up. But as you can see, I got quite a lot of healthy individuals, and look there, you can see a lot of those pinheads. When I was trying to start my producing colony, I was in desperate need of pinheads, and since I switched over to the dry setup, I've got more than I need. Now, you may wonder, how in the world do you separate those pinheads from the rest of them? I'll show you that in a minute, but let's just kind of walk you through the enclosure again here. You can see there are egg cases all over the place in there. So the way to keep your red runner roaches, at least, guys, is bone dry. Of course, you do want a water source for them, and the two that I have here are almost completely empty. I've got a couple of bottle caps that I keep cricket quencher in, which is pretty inexpensive. That's a water source that you can use for them. It's a gel. It's kind of like a Jello or something or whatever, but it's a water source for them that they like. They love carrots. I buy these at Walmart. It's a package of whole carrots, organic carrots. They're less than $2. I feed them potatoes as well. If your family eats a lot of fruits, apples, and things like that, you could put apple cores and stuff like that in there. They love those. When I first started keeping my own feeders, I was putting a lot of lettuce in there, and I figured out that they don't like the iceberg lettuce near as much as they do the romaine. So if you decide to use the leafy greens, just keep that in mind. But that's basically it, guys. It's really easy to keep them. Just have some places for them to hide. Keep them vertical so that the poop just kind of all falls down. That way you're not dumping a bunch of roach crap out in your separate container when you go to feed. And speaking of feeding, let's show you guys how I separate my pinheads out when I'm ready to feed. Alright, so let's show you guys how I separate out sized roaches. We're just going to do the pinheads, how I separate those out. This is kind of a couple of step process, but it is so much easier than trying to separate them out from all of the other roaches. But the first thing you want is sorry, I bumped the camera there, my bad. Another tub, and you just want to basically take all of your egg carton. Darn it. Dump all of the roaches out. Make sure you get them all out before you set the egg carton to the side, because you do not want roaches running loose in your house. But you just basically dump all of your roaches out into another tub, like so. Sometimes this takes a couple of minutes. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera. Now you can look down in there and see that there are quite a lot of pinheads running around in there. So now I'm going to show you how to get those pinheads out of there with all the other roaches. Okay, so here is my separating system. We have another tub, which the pinheads will end up in. And then I have a smaller tub with a series of small holes drilled into the bottom of it. Then I have some larger holes here on the side drilled in. And I've got some sticks glued together that I run through the sides, and that's just to suspend this little tub over the larger tub. But you can see I've got smaller holes all throughout the bottom of this thing. And this is about the easiest separating system that I have found. What you want to do is take your larger tub, give it a few good thumps to knock everybody down into one corner, and then you just proceed to dump your roaches into this larger tub, like so. Then once you've got them all dumped in there, you just sit back and wait for 10 or 15 minutes, and you'll have a buttload of pinheads separated out. So let's wait a few minutes and let's see what happens. Alright, so we have waited 15 minutes for a lot of these little pinheads to basically sort themselves out. I can still see a few down in the bottom of this tub, and if I waited longer I could probably separate more. But I assure you, I don't need any more right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this off to the side over to my roach enclosure. And let's take a look and see what we've got. Now you can see there's a couple of larger roaches down in there. That is just because when I was dumping them in there earlier, I was concentrating on working around the camera as well as looking at the screen to make sure I had everything in shot. And you can see there, guys, look at all those pinheads down in there, along with that one mature female. There must be at least 100 pinheads there. And I've started doing this every week, and the yield just keeps getting bigger, it seems like, every week. So there you go, guys. That is how you raise a colony of red runner roaches. If you have a lot of smaller tarantulas like I do, then this is how you get the pinheads you need to feed. Now, of course, since all of this has started to change, now all of a sudden I have a plethora of pinheads, more than I can use. So I've got a couple of containers, actually, that I've got them separated out into, and I let them just kind of grow. because I still need some like small, basically like small sized red runners and stuff like that. So I've got different sizes of smaller ones in there. And then I've got another one that's got some more recent pinheads in it, which will be, a little bit smaller, but there's also some, all kinds of different sizes in there. So I'm able to feed out everything that I need as far as on the roaches. Now you notice those two down in there, like I said, I just wasn't concentrating. I don't ever have that problem. Every once in a while I have one come flying out of the enclosure and it lands on the floor, which fortunately I didn't have while I was videoing, and I just drop a cup or something on top of it and catch it later after I'm not busy. But there you go, guys. This is how you breed and care for red runner roaches, and once they start breeding, this is how you get them out and separated. And if you do need like different sized roaches, it'd be a good idea once you separate some of these pinheads out to put them in different containers. That way you've got like different sizes. Before you know it, you'll have so damn many of them that you won't know what to do with them. And then hopefully you'll be able to start selling them. Now I have one other tub that I use for separating, and it's normally for roaches about that size right there, which I feed to some of my larger slings. This is it right here. It has slightly larger holes in it. If you do anything bigger than these holes right here, then you get most all of your roaches except for the full-grown adults down in the tub. So, if you want to separate out 2 or 3 different sizes, always start with the smaller one. I think this was an 1/8-inch drill bit, and this is a 1/4 inch. But you wouldn't want to go much bigger than that, or, it's easy to separate out some medium-sized roaches from the larger ones. But for the pinheads and the smallers, use your, I believe, like I said, it was an 8-inch drill bit, 1/8-inch drill bit, and the other one was 1/4 inch. Then you've got your different size feeders for your different size tarantulas. I hope this was informational for at least one person out there, and I hope at least one person out there enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know you did. If you have not subscribed, please don't forget to do that. I am 24 away from 200 subscribers, and when I hit 200, I'm doing a giveaway, and the winner of that giveaway will actually have a choice on their prize. So, if you're not subscribed, please do that. I'm not going to go all cliche and say hit the notification button, because if you're subscribed to me, it's going to pop up in your subscriptions that I've made a new video anyway. So, if there's somebody out there you think might benefit from this video, please feel free to share it. I hope all of you have a great day. Don't forget to take care of yourselves and each other. God bless y'all. We'll see you in the next one.